Hi. Yeah, I thought I was dead, didn't you? No, but really, a lot has happened since last time I posted in here. At the start of the year, I had a mental breakdown, then I had to study for my exams, then I started working. Bro, a lot has happened. However, I'm better now. Also, I'm in vacations, so I thought after posting a few drawings on Twitter to finally turn on OBS and record my process, because I've been doing all these drawings without even recording, and I get so frustrated at myself for that. Anyways, the idea of doing something on MS Paint was on my mind since the beginning of this channel, but at the end of the day, I never got to materialize the idea. So, isn't it fitting that after months of not uploading something, my perfect comeback will be suffering with MS Paint? Because I do think it fits pretty well. A self punishment of some sort, if you will. Anyways, that's all I had written down. Now, the next minutes, you will be hearing Miss Tomato Juice and her unfiltered thoughts as per usual, because I never write down a whole script. Like, this is the first time I even write a script. Anyways, as the title says, I really liked Penacony. I don't know, I really liked it. The whole idea, dreamscape, and all. It was amazing. Like, the story was interesting too, and the characters, I always like new characters. But yeah, I will try to not talk too much about Penacony because I feel like I will throw some spoilers if I do. But yeah, I mean, if you don't play Honkai Star Rail, I really recommend you to play it because it's very fun. At least in the story, I really like the story. I know some people get thrown off because of the gameplay. Some people don't like turn-based games, but I don't know. I feel like with time you get to enjoy it quite a lot. Anyways, I've been talking non-stop and I haven't even touched something related to the drawing I'm doing right now. But yeah, I gotta say that when I realized that I couldn't rotate when I was transforming stuff in MS Paint and I didn't get to rotate it, I got so frustrated. I was like, bro, I need this hat to be a little more on the right, but I can't. But yeah, also, I don't really know how to draw hats. Like, this is one of my first time drawing hats because it's not something I'm used to, so it was the first time. So if it looks weird, maybe not really related with the head, I'm sorry for that because, as I'm telling you, one of my first starts. One of my first times. But yeah. I realized later on when I was drawing that I had a lot of things I could have done differently. Like, why did I start with a white background? I could have perfectly just do a random color in the background, so it would be easier for me instead of doing all that stuff of coloring the whole background. I don't know, I feel like that would have been easier for me, but I realized it way too late. Bro, I was really struggling with that drawing because I had an idea, but it's different to do an idea in your usual programs than in MS Paint. I'm not used to do something like this, so it was a nice challenge, to be honest, because it was very fun to experiment new ways of do stuff like this type of coloring. Like, you barely see any line art. It's one of my few times I do something like this because I'm not really used to it. If you have seen my other drawings, I tend to do the line art and maybe sometimes erase it, but it's still there. You can still see the line art, but at this time, like in the jacket of Stella and stuff, you barely see any line art because I completely cover it up. But yeah, also I really like Cloaky. How is in the Japanese dub is like Krokuboi. Krokuboi. It's very silly. I really like it. Anyways, it was very fun to draw Cloaky because it's not a design at all that I'm used to. Because I mean, it's a whole cartoon. I don't really draw cartoons, so it was very silly and it was very fun because it was an easy design, but at the same time, you have to be very careful to not add too many details. If not, it will be kind of weird. I don't know. But yeah, it was very fun to do. It was very hard at the beginning, but once I got to experiment enough how to do some stuff, I really got to enjoy the process very much. So yeah. Also, isn't it very fun the background music that I decided to use at the moment? I really like it because it reminds me of all that 50s, 60s style of Penacony. So I wanted to add some music that will match up with the tone of the drawing. So I think I really like this music is very upbeat and it makes me want to bob my head. Another thing that I really liked back when I was drawing this is how I ended up painting Estelle's hand. I don't know. It's like very small details. I have come to notice that every time I do drawings, I end up focusing on very small details that in a whole drawing I'm go like, oh yeah, this detail that you can barely notice at the beginning is my favorite part. So yeah. The struggle I had with that thing in Cloaky's hat, because at the beginning I thought it was like, it looked like a leaf, and then you see all that scribble, that's weird scribble. I know I realized it some days ago that that is actually like an actual language in game. Then you can really translate it and stuff. Because I saw it on the wiki, and then for a moment I thought, what about I try to do that? But then I realized, bro, I'm too lazy for that. So I was like, I'm not going to add any extra challenge to this already challenging thing I'm doing right now. So I didn't even thought about it. I just did a few scribbles and that's all. See, this is the problem I told you about the background. Like at the beginning I thought I was gonna do something, but then I was like, what should I do? Because I knew I wanted to add those curtains, but I didn't know what to add behind them. So it was kind of a struggle at the beginning, but then I realized, meh, I'm not going to make it harder for myself. So I just did whatever. And hopefully it turned out well. I don't know. I think so. I keep experimenting with the textures. It's very. I tried to do a very polished style at the beginning, but then at the end I gave up and thought like, bro, but sketchy whatever texture I was trying to do at the moment, it was actually very nice to see, and yeah. The lightning and stuff, it was something you can see that I added at the end, and I really liked how it was. But yeah. That is the result I know it's been a while, so this probably won't be seen by anyone, but yeah, if you have some new ideas for future content and stuff, listen, I am all ears and I can read all the comments. There won't be comments probably, but anyways, that's all for now. This is tomato juice, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye.